Hello and welcome to Deep Blue Sea, the podcast. I am Mark here for the Beers Hoffmeyer.
And I am Jay, Captain Bubbles Cluett. Welcome you aboard Deep Blue Sea, the podcast. On this show, Mark and I have been through the Deep Blue Sea trilogy, scene by scene, now looking at some Deep Blue Sea adjacent films. That's films directed by Rennie Harlin, featuring aquatic action or sharks. And this definitely has at least two of those three, because today we're talking about The Meg. What is The Meg? Well, we're finally covering it as a 2018 giant shark movie. Directed by Jon Turtletaub. It's not a giant turtle movie directed by Jon Sharktaub. Different film. I would see that film. But there we go. It's based on a series of novels. There are novels for The Meg, who knew? And it stars, Jason Statham, but also Lee Bingbing, Rainn Wilson, Ruby Rose and her very aggressive eyebrows, Winston Chow, Cliff Curtis, Paige Kennedy, a bunch of people in this film, but mainly at least one giant megalodon. So we need someone to help us talk about The Meg. And there could only be one person to help us talk about The Meg, because she's also called Meg. So, Meg Hoffmeyer, Mark's wife, is here to join. Meg, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. I did actually listen to this book when it came out, when it was new in 1997, and I was very into it because there weren't books that had my name.
The Meg.
The Meg. Yeah, I was like, oh, what's this about? I just like the name. It doesn't matter. Sharks, that's cool too. Now there's a very campy horror movie named after me, but I prefer this one.
Yeah, you're the one here who actually listened to the book, who knows the book. This is good.
Knowing the book feels like a stretch at this point. 1997 was quite a while ago.
Did you escape from the Mariana Trench as well?
I would like most children from the 80s, 90s, I had a phase where I definitely wanted to be a marine biologist.
Yeah,
and this totally fueled that.
Did every child in the 90s, at least in the States, want to be a marine biologist?
I've heard that, yes.
I think it's a pretty common thing. Like my mum's obsessed with manatees, so I think she's got that. Like we've been to SeaWorld before we knew it was bad, just so she could see the manatees. There's an obsession with aquatic life.
Mm-hmm.
It's an alien world down there. It's all very weird and different and brightly coloured and terrifying. And there's a 75-foot long shark.
And I grew up in Florida near the springs with the manatees.
I had an obsession with dolphins.
Dolphins?
We had the Miami Dolphins. And there were lots of dolphin movies and TV shows, and we had Flipper.
Did you ever eat a dolphin?
Oh my gosh, Mark, how horrible.
Like in Multiplicity, when Michael Keaton clone says, I'm going to eat a dolphin when they go to Florida.
Only the fish that is also referred to as dolphin.
That's a tuna.
It's something.
Yeah, tuna, right? Dolphin. That's a
mahi.
It's a big tuna.
It's a tuna, bro.
All right, so Meg and Jay, quick question.
Meg, me, Meg, or Shark Meg?
Well, Shark Meg, how you doing, man? We don't have a tiger shark in our home. We now have a Meg. Terrible idea.
We have a calico shark.
A bigger house.
Horrifying idea. Yeah, we're gonna need a bigger house. So I have a question for you two. And Jay, my apologies if you haven't watched Moonfall. But which character?
I have watched Moonfall.
Oh yes,
I have.
So, who is the better ripped alcoholic or ripped drunk?
Okay.
Jason Statham in The Meg, or Patrick Wilson in Moonfall? Who is a guy that always has a beer with him, always chugging, but still has six-pack abs, and could probably do 43 pull-ups? What ass?
At least. I think Statham just wouldn't stop. He'd just start doing pull-ups and just keep going until bedtime.
He is suspiciously fit for someone who's supposed to be so drunk.
This is okay.
At least Patrick Wilson seems like a normal guy.
But
he seems more average, even though I love Patrick Wilson.
Did you just call P-Dubs average?
He looks more average.
I'd like to see Jason Statham. Who could play an Elvis cover better while drunk? Patrick Wilson or Jason Statham?
Oh, definitely Patrick Wilson.
Yes.
Yeah, because we only heard Statham sing "Just Keep Swimming." That's all he can sing. He's never been in a musical thing. But I feel like P-Dubs. I've only seen Moonfall once. I liked it. Not as much as you. No one does. But I liked it. And what I can recall,
Gravity Wave.
Yeah.
He's like consistently a wreck of a human being enough. Like he's a drunk, but he doesn't immediately, as soon as he's on the mission, he's not like immediately Superman. Whereas Statham is established as being, things went badly for him. He's a drunk. Now he's on the mission. He's a god. He can do you never see him have a drink after that initial, I'm going to get myself a beer. You want a beer? Everyone have a beer. Like, after that...
Excellent Statham, Jay.
Thank you. He's one of the guys I can do.
So there's no withdrawal. So for 5 years, does he work out, Jay and Megan?
Definitely.
If
you
he
seen
doesn't,
him?
No, in the movie.
Oh,
he's
in
a
the
genetic
movie.
anomaly if he doesn't work out.
Like, does Jonas Taylor work out
We
while
don't see
boozing?
him
I
exercise.
mean, he swims. That
he
counts
swims.
as a workout.
Does he still swim during his alcoholic days?
He's working. He's on a dock. He's working with boats. I imagine he's the water's right there.
Occasionally, as a drunk, he probably falls in the water and has to swim.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe that's what they do. They take him out 10 miles, let him fall out, and swim back.
Mm-hmm. They just shove him.
He had like what happens to Rainn Wilson? He falls off the boat all the time and has to swim back.
So many people fall off of boats in this movie.
Again and again and again. Like sometimes the same person twice in a scene.
Normally I don't notice that in movies, but it got so excessive in this film that just by the time they jump off the boat with the child that they brought with to combat a gigantic shark,
Sure. Yep.
everyone falls off boats in this.
Mm-hmm.
There's just no.
Yeah, to the point where Jon Turtletaub said in an interview that he actually pushed Sophia Kai Maying in the water on her first day, and she doesn't know how to swim.
What?
Yeah.
Why'd he do that?
He
I
thought
saw
it
the
was
same thing.
hilarious in the interview.
Oh, Jon Sharktaub. That's bad. That's a bad look.
Mm-hmm.
Just pushed a tiny girl
Yeah,
into the water.
that's what he said.
Jeez Louise, Turtle.
This is rare for a film. The child is one of my favorite characters. I think she's great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of the characters Statham has chemistry with, she's one of the better ones. Compared to the love interest he has in the film with Lee Bingbing, he has far better chemistry with Sophia.
No,
Kai.
he's always great with kids. It
Yes.
shines through in a lot of movies he's in.
Yeah, you know what? Even with the baby in Fate of the Furious,
Yeah.
and that's a baby. They're good
Statham.
together.
Uncle Statham.
Yeah, Uncle Statham.
It's a real thing.
He's like the RDJ of British
Oh.
Cockney actors.
Sure.
Wait, no, is he? No, former gangster star. He's not Cockney.
Former Olympic swimmers, divers,
And music video dancers.
He's the Robert Downey Jr. of Derbyshire.
There it is. No, okay, so The Meg.
Yes.
This is a movie that so I put up a poll on Twitter, and I asked if
It's
80
X.
I was gonna say.
85 votes. I put up. I need some help. Which of the following shark movies do you prefer? Jaws 2, 1978, Deep Blue Sea, 1999, The Shallows, 2016, and The Meg, 2018. Jay, do you want to guess the order without looking at this Twitter poll?
I mean, I know what mine would be. Mine's like Deep Blue Sea, The Shallows. I probably Jaws 2, then The Meg. Is what I think mine is. But then The Meg made a load of money. A lot of people saw it. Some people must have liked it. Deep Blue Sea should be the top though, because these are people that follow you. So
Well, so I put this on
yeah.
Movies, Films, and Flicks.
And you watched that shark movie documentary, and they were super impressed by Deep Blue Sea.
Oh yeah, Sharksploitation, the documentary on Shudder. Jay and all the Deep Blue Sea fans out there, everybody was wildly positive about Deep Blue Sea in that documentary.
Excellent. I haven't seen it yet. I intend to. I saw you want to do an episode on it. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just need to
I
watch
was
it
writing
first.
down all the movies. I was like, which one are they talking about? But like, everybody loves Deep Blue Sea in that. The animatronics, the science, they all dig it.
Well, they were super excited because there had been so many bad shark movies, a big lull in the industry of shark movies. And then this came out, and people were genuinely impressed again.
And so were my Twitter followers on Movies, Films, and Flicks. 41% like Deep Blue Sea, then Jaws 2 got 30%, and then The Shallows and Meg tied for 14.1%.
The Shallows feels low to me. But
I
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
right?
For me, it's
Shallows is
DBS, Shallows, Jaws 2, The Meg.
The Shallows is excellent.
I said Shallows, DBS, Meg, Jaws 2.
Yeah, you're a
Yeah,
Shallowser.
We need to
I
talk
love
about that,
Shallows.
Meg. What podcast do you want right now?
Meg saw me watch The Shallows once, and how far did I slink down on the couch being stressed out?
Oh, it was simultaneously slinking and going sort of over the top with your arms.
I was very theatrical while watching The Shallows, Jay.
Mhm.
Nice. Good.
Yeah.
It gets you. It's a tense film.
but not the Meg so much. The Meg, Jon Turtletaub was talking about in an interview about this movie where he normally sticks to kind of National Treasure-esque stuff, nicer kind of films. And so he said he tried to put some horror in this, but you can see he cuts the horror with a wild amount of one-liners.
Yes. This isn't a tense. The people that die in the film don't die horribly. They often die off screen. It's always people that you think, yeah, you're not going to make it out of the film. There's nothing surprising happens in the Meg.
I think the biggest bit of horror tension we live through is the dog scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tippet.
And real quick, did Jonas and DJ, are they responsible for the wall's death?
I mean, at some point you have to blame him for staying in the water.
That's true.
Because he's in there for a long time whilst DJ makes up a terrible song. We got the wall in the water. It's that song. The wall is a really weird nickname. Just as they go, like just calling him Wall, I can understand. Putting a the at the start, the Wall.
The Wall.
Like he's the wall that everyone knows about.
Wait, but are there other nicknames where people have the? Well, and Bill Paxton in Twister was the Extreme.
That's true, but you have to factor in that the actor who played the Wall, whose name I cannot pronounce, Oliver Darry Olafson, in True Detective, played a character called The Wall.
Oh.
DEWALL. The same thing.
Oh wow! Oh wow! Hey,
so the reference to the character he played on TV 4 years earlier, maybe? I don't know.
That's deep. And that's also something only you can find, Jay. And also, I just want to say one thing about the Meg. I've watched this movie about 5 times, and every time I started, I'm like, oh man. But then at the end, when Jason Statham cuts the Meg, guts the Meg, and then a bunch of sharks attack it, and there's missiles on these submersibles, which I don't get. And it, like watching the guy in the ball get smushed, and there's a beach with the brightest tubes, like the tube rental place is booming on this beach. If I'm on this beach, I'm starting a tube rental because everyone's getting them. But whenever I finish it, I start thinking about it later. I'm like, well, Statham fights a shark. He stabs a shark in the eye. He kicks it. He kind of pushes off of the shark. He's in the water with the shark. He's in a submarine. And he guts a shark. And I'm like, yeah, it was fine. But I don't know if I ever really enjoyed watching it because the sheer amount of plot. Like, so I wrote down notes about the plot. And it's just, there's an ex-wife. There's a new love interest. There's a billionaire with, like, I don't know what there's an angry doctor who's angry for no reason whatsoever.
Bitter. He's got a grudge.
There's 2 sharks. There's people think that Jonas is crazy. I mean, there's submarines. There's so much plot.
Well, and there's the whole part of the new love interest where I see what is happening with the dialogue and stuff. I don't agree with it. This whole, they're sparring at first. They don't agree, but then they have to work through it, and then they hit each other's jokes back and forth later on. No, it's just too much. It doesn't have to be that complicated.
And it's messed up, too, because all of her crew's dying around her, but then she's getting flirty with Jason Statham. It's like...
She's peeping at him through a porthole while he's taking a shower.
Like, 8 of my crew just got eaten. But
her
I'm gonna
dad dies.
Yeah.
It's not just true, it's her father.
Yeah. And do we hear about him later?
Well, there's like a to the people we lost. There's a toast at the end on the boat, or the friends we lost along the way, or whatever. But that's it. There's no like, oh, sorry about your dad. All of our like this guy we knew really well was like he was like this really nice, benevolent boss, and your dad, and he's moving on. Let's make this thing bleed.
I love how you said that. Her dad dies. But you know what though? But I keep coming back to it though, Jay. Like, and I because it's a big shark movie with Jason Statham, and he's just drinking beers and he's in great shape, and it's really odd.
It's very easy to watch in the background.
Yes, I would say so.
Which can't be said for a lot of media right now.
Yeah. It's the highest profile shark movie we've had in a long time, just because it's Statham. I think so. It's a decent sized budget. There's a lot of effects on screen. There's a lot. It played very well internationally, especially in China, which was not an accident. It's all set around China. You've got some prominent Chinese characters who are all
Yeah.
like good people.
It's funny that most of the articles about this movie when it came out are talking about such a surprise that it made so much money. And I don't know, Jason Statham movies tend to do pretty well.
Yeah.
I guess people were just not into the idea of the Meg.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of sleep, but I mean, what in the States it made 145, in the UK it made 20, in China it made 153. But I mean, like you said, Jay, it had prominent like Chinese actors. Like it was backed by the Chinese money. Like it was meant to be a worldwide hit. It was meant
Chinese
to be a fast
production, which is why they changed the book characters from Japanese to Chinese to suit that.
Oh wow, and like that's cool. And it was just supposed to be I don't know. It's like a Fast and Furious type property where people are surprised about it. Like, but it made 700 million. The latest Fast 10 made 150 in the States, but 550 million worldwide. Like, I think they had the formula figured out to make some bank.
Yeah.
It's funny you said that because I was doing some research.
Uh-oh.
And Ben Wheatley said about the Meg that he really likes this property because of its internationalness and how it's an everyday adventure, people working together, people just happen to come from places all over the world, and it's good for audiences.
I think so.
Well, and I thought when I read that, I thought very much of Fast and the Furious movies.
And they shot it in New Zealand. Like, shot in New Zealand, had an international cast, a large shark. And you know what I was most impressed with, Jay? And Megan sent me a video over all the tank work in this movie. Like, the visual effects are pretty good. They spent a lot of time on the tank, but I do like the visual effects. Like, you feel like they're in the ocean.
Oh, for sure.
I would say.
There's an interview with Jon Turtletaub where he's saying, like, they say you can film in a studio all you want, but you should really film out on the sea, the ocean. It's great. It's so much better. And then later in the same issue, he's like, it was difficult, so we filmed in a tank. It's a long way to go, and the boat just keeps moving.
And like all the weather comes into play. Like that's funny. So he was all gung ho, and then he realized quickly that it's going to be very, very, very expensive.
Yeah, I watched a video that had a bunch of cast interviews and mainly Rainn Wilson saying, we filmed a lot on the water and it's exhausting.
Like
and everybody else said that too. Ruby Rose said her last shot, she didn't remember the last few seconds of it. And they told her she was done.
Go home, you're done. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the impracticalities, but I think the tank work looks good when Su Yin is being swallowed whole by the Meg in the water. Mm-hmm. It's really clear, but it still looks good. It's lit well. It looks nice. It's easy to follow.
Well, she made an interesting point in talking about filming in that shark cage bubble thing. They were able to get really clear shots because you can have lighting in the cage. And that is much better lit than just swimming through the water.
Oh, it's like a flashlight.
They had ring lights in the bottom and top of it. If you look at a video, if you just Google the Meg and the underwater stuff, there's cage and it's got a ring light in the top and the bottom. So everything is extremely well lit, which is probably why it looks great in the water.
Yeah, like the VFX are
great.
Yeah,
the whole thing looks fantastic.
No, listen, I mean, Turtletaub, after National Treasure 1 and 2, I mean, this is a guy who's been around, and Sorcerer's Apprentice, like, the guy's been around big budget movies. He knows how to handle them. He knows how to frame actors. He knows how to make successful films. So I think the smart move about bringing Turtletaub in for this movie rather than like an Eli Roth, who was supposed to make this movie for many years, and, R-rated hardcore movie, but Turtletaub gets he can keep it on budget. He knows how to shoot it. He knows how to frame it. He knows how to make it just, saccharine enough to get a PG-13, and it blew up worldwide. So I think he was a good steward for the first film. And now that all this alcoholic ex-wife nonsense in this movie and like how Jonas is bummed is out of the way, send in Ben Wheatley for the chaos. Like sending him to the audience is there. So now let's go bonkers. So I'm super stoked for what he's going to bring to it. But I think Turtletaub did a good job, but I think the problem with Turtletaub when you bring him in is it's going to be kind of bland.
Yeah.
I'm not hating on Turtletaub, but it's not going to be a Rennie Harlan bombast.
That's it. Turtletaub, he doesn't have a strong directorial style, I would say. I'm learning today that he directed Cool Runnings, a film I've seen 1,000 times, and I had no idea he directed that. That just feels like it's a Disney Channel film. It's everyone. You can just come watch Cool Runnings, have a good time. And the
Yeah.
National Treasure films, we talked to them like very recently, and they're great. They're fun, but there's not like they're not auteur films.
Mm-mm.
And that's okay. It's fine to have workman-like directors, I guess. But you don't come away from something thinking, yeah, that was a real Turtletaub project. It's got his name all over it.
So what you're saying is he's not an auteur.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Like, I guess this one didn't need it, though. 530 mil. Would it made more money? Like, I don't think it would have made more money if Eli Roth was attached to it, do you?
No.
No, I don't think so. Pretty less.
No,
Yeah.
I think he knew exactly what he had. He was quoted saying, "Big is fun. Going under the ocean is fun. Submersibles are fun. But you know what's really fun? Watching Jason Statham." So he knew what he had. People are here for sharks and subs and water, but they also want to just watch Jason Statham.
Yeah.
That's a good, and he's in almost every frame of this. He is the guy.
Yeah.
You're watching him be Statham. He seemed pretty grumpy about this movie, though. Did you read interviews with him?
No.
Not really. I only saw the one where he talks about the fact that he did some shark cage diving to prepare. And he, as Jay said, it was an Olympic diver, and he calls himself a scuba fanatic whenever he's got time.
So he's like Hank Azaria from Along Came Polly.
Yeah, so he flew to Fiji, dove with a bunch of bull sharks.
That's dangerous. Well, that's very Statham.
Definitely.
Yeah, just put the listen, there's a reason why your dad and I, Megan, have watched almost every Statham movie.
Right.
You just put him on a screen and I'll watch him do it. Put him in Ghosts of Mars, I'll watch him. Like Statham, I just like watching him. So just put him up there with a good looking shark. I mean, let's talk about the Meg a little bit. Like, so this Meg, it's not fully introduced until 34 minutes in. In Deep Blue Sea, the shark is introduced in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. The Shallows, the shark comes in at 23 minutes. So it takes a long time for the Meg to pop up. But then it's also on, so Deep Blue CJ, the shark's on screen for 3 minutes and 37 seconds, okay. 13 minutes and 37 seconds. In the Shallows, the shark's on screen for 4 minutes. And in the Meg, it's almost on screen for 8 minutes. So there's a decent amount of shark. But they're so big, It makes sense why there's only 8 minutes of shark.
And you get some giant squid in there as well. So, and there's like a bunch of other little sharks.
And dead whales.
Too. And dead whales, yeah.
What a horrifying
the
scene.
Shallows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, which movie features the best dead floating whale carcass? The Shallows or the Meg?
How are we defining best here?
I know, right? That's tough because they're very different.
That's up to
the
you.
One you want to hang out on the most?
That's up to you.
I mean, it doesn't end well for one of these groups.
I think
if you're trying to survive, probably the Shallows.
Yeah, because you're closer to the shore.
I mean, they were both vengeful sharks, but that one's a bit smaller.
I'm going to go for the Shallows because that is what brought the shark in. And it's kind of a nice little plot point. It followed a free buffet.
Yes. And you feel like it died of natural causes, whereas this one was collateral damage for people trying to kill a Meg to kill a whale.
I love in this movie they're like shark finning is evil, which millions of sharks are killed each year, but then they're blowing the hell out of whales and blowing up whales all over the place. So
I mean, not intentionally, I guess. You can't. And it's the Rainn Wilson who's kind of the closest we get to an evil human in this film.
Yeah, he makes a heel turn.
A little bit, yeah. He's not a nice guy. It's one of those classic billionaires who has no idea what they're funding. Like, comes to the research center and is like, so what's going on here? This could be a waste of $1.2 billion. What? What did you think they were doing? Throw money this way?
And he falls out of a boat.
Yeah.
Good. All right, I have a couple questions for y'all. Jay, better research facility, the Aquatica in Deep Blue Sea or the Mana one in the Meg?
I mean, the Mana one's got that great circle observation deck thing, which is very cool. It's just a setup for the white marks in the tunnel. So I think, which one I'd rather visit? I'd rather visit the Mana one. It feels more luxurious and nice, whereas Aquatica is just a disused submarine station kind of thing.
Yeah, what do you think, Meg?
Yeah, I think Mana 1 is more impressive, but if for escapability factor, probably Aquatica.
Yeah,
Yes.
we
You
don't-
could
we
get
don't
out
know
of there in a hurry.
We
Good
don't know how
call.
deep Mana 1 is as well. This is frustrating. I had to just guess for later in the podcast, which is a little frustrating. But there we go.
All right, and one more question. Three more questions. Better, who's the best rich person? We have Russell Franklin from Deep Blue Sea or Jack Morris from The Meg. Who's a better rich person, Meg?
Russell Franklin.
Yeah. He's like trying to be helpful.
Sorry, Rainn Wilson.
All right, moving along.
He dies trying to help, not trying to cover his own ass.
Yeah, good. And then he falls out of a boat and dies.
Gets eaten by a shark.
Rain. All right, best animal bird: Steven Seagal from Shallows, the bird from Deep Blue Sea, or Pippin from The Shallows, or from The Meg.
Ooh. I mean, I like the bird. Bird talks.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say bird, then Steven Seagal, then Pippin. Because Pippin dies, but then isn't dead. Like the shark eats, it swallows. It comes up and then Pippin's gone, and then it just happens to be paddling at the end. It's a ghost Pippin at that point.
It's a miracle dog.
Mm.
What about you, Meg?
Steven Seagal, Bird, and then Pippin. I mean, come on. Steven's got some sass. She fixes his wing and then he bites her.
Oh, and then she puts him on that little floaty thing. And you're really invested in Steven Seagal.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Do
what,
you
Jay?
think What?
I'm going Steven Seagal ahead of Bird.
That's fine. Would you like it more or less if he was called Jason Seagal?
Less.
Or Katie Seagal?
That's so.
I've run out of Seagulls.
I like Jason Seagal. And then Harrison Ford comes in the background and is like, "You're raw dogging me."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's such a funny show.
All right, last one. Who takes a better shark ride? Jonas in The Meg or Carter Blake in Deep Blue Sea?
What about Dr. Misty Calhoun? Deep Sea 2.
Right?
Wait. Oh gosh, in the beginning. Okay. Okay, Dr. Misty Calhoun in Deep Blue Sea 2 or Carter Blake from Deep Blue Sea or Jonas from The Meg. Who takes the best shark ride?
I think Carter.
Yeah, I think Carter.
It's pretty classic.
It's long too. He's underwater for like 3 years.
Yeah, he's like
Quite
this
the
one
air
doesn't
tank.
have this one doesn't have a shark expert. You know, Statham is like he's a deep sea rescue guy, and the others are. No one is like a shark expert. With Carter is the shark guy, so he's gonna be the guy who knows how to ride a shark.
Good point. Good point. Who wins in a race? I'm just gonna put this down for y'all. I just came up with this one.
Oh no.
Patrick Wilson from Moonfall,
Mm-hmm.
Carter Blake from Deep Blue Sea,
What?
Dr. Misty Calhoun in a swimming race, Dr.
Okay.
Misty Calhoun from Deep Blue Sea 2, Emma Collins from Deep Blue Sea 3, and Jonas. So the 5 of them are an Olympic-sized pool, and they have to go there and back. Who wins?
Does
Who wins?
P-Dubs swim at all in Moonfall? Is that
No,
something I missed?
He's
Okay.
from St. Pete, so everyone from St. Pete knows the beach.
Sure. I'm gonna say he's confused and is just trying to drink the water. So he's gonna lose. I mean,
Oh, man.
Statham, like Jonas Taylor, I think has the best swimming. If it's on the surface, unaided by sharks, I'm gonna go Jonas.
Whoa, who's winning, Meg?
I mean, probably Statham, logically.
I'm going P-Dub.
Of course you are.
Yeah, St. Pete.
Jonas has that aerodynamic head.
Oh, that's true. Carter Blake is more for short bursts. He wouldn't want to swim that far and back.
So
I
would
feel like-
you rather be stuck in a submarine at the bottom of the Mariana Trench needing rescuing, or in a tube in a megalodon's mouth? Which would you rather be trying to escape?
Tube in a megalodon's mouth, because
Yeah, probably.
that's how I want to go down. What happened to Mark? He was in a fluorescent tube trying to dart a gigantic prehistoric sea creature that exploded from the Mariana Trench, and he got swallowed. The tube he was in got swallowed whole by the megalodon.
Can we talk about the book?
You want to talk about the book?
Because what you just mentioned, there's a lot of stuff here that's making me think of the book.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
So you said-
I agree about being in the tube as preferable. Sorry, but yes.
Oh,
the
sorry,
book.
Jay. Should have asked you.
No, absolutely fine. Absolutely fine.
Interesting note. Jay said series of books. When I didn't even know there was a series. I read the first one, and that was that. But there are 7 books
they've
and
made 2
an
more.
8th one coming out in 2024. And there's a graphic novel.
What are the titles?
Okay, here we go.
The Meg.
A novel of deep terror. That's 1. 2, The Trench, Meg 2.
Oh.
3, Meg Primal Waters. 4, Meg Hell's Aquarium.
Hell's Aquarium.
I need that one.
Oh, yes.
5, Meg Origins, a prequel.
Okay.
6, Meg Night Stalkers.
Hang on. What would a prequel to the Meg be? Shark is born?
I think it's probably about the stuff that's in the beginning of the book that everyone was really disappointed wasn't in the movie, where the Meg battles a T-Rex.
Oh.
Sold. I'm in.
Right?
This film.
Number 7, Meg Generations. Number 8, Meg Purgatory. What?
This is the greatest thing I've ever... I'm going to read all these.
So the interesting thing about the book versus the movies, in this one there's a baby shark just out there. In the book, Meg is pregnant. And all of these sequel series are apparently, because I Googled it, I have not read them all, are about the baby.
Whoa. And you know what they leave out in the beginning is, in the book...
The Meg versus T-Rex. That's what they leave out, and it's very disappointing.
That should be in every film.
I know.
Kramer versus
Everyone
Kramer.
would have been hooked. So that was one of the main complaints from readers and fans of the book series, that, and we've identified this too, it's a little bit bland. It's not nearly as violent as the books are, because there's some real violence. The T-Rex is turned into pulp.
Hey, I know in the trench the T-Rex gets killed. So that'll be fun.
Oh, yeah, that was another thing. So the opening scene from this movie, The Meg, is actually the opening scene of the Meg 2 book.
Can I get a full back tattoo, Megan, of Hell's Aquarium? So it'll be like aquarium on my back. Like, Red Dragon? I want to get a full aquarium on my back and have it be like monsters, hell monsters in the aquarium.
Yeah, I don't care what you do as long as you do a GoFundMe for it.
Oh,
So you have like what... You have a classic deep sea
I'm not
divers
paying for that.
suit with the devil horns coming out.
Instead of like a treasure chest, it's like a torture chest or something. Like, oh, Jay, I like that. A scuba diver all in red with like horns.
Poseidon with a pitchfork instead of whatever he normally has.
A lot of devil rays.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
And also, but in the book, this is what makes the relationship. Like, so in the book, you have Longmire, the doctor. He approves Statham to go underwater.
Oh, but
also
Jonas was a paleontologist and marine biologist, which it's a lot more credibility.
Yeah, not just a rescue bloke. Oh.
I don't think Statham could play that. I wouldn't buy Statham as being a paleontologist.
You see that fossil over there? It's old. That's the line. Oh.
Cool.
Thanks, Jonas.
I found this. I don't know what it is.
It's such a good Statham.
But in the beginning of the book, he had been on a bunch of missions, Meg, and he was tired.
Meg.
Yeah, it's super tired, but he got approved to go down. So people don't know that when he went down there, whether or not it was like he was exhausted and the ship blew up. So people didn't know whether it was his fault because he was tired or because the actual creature destroys it.
Which is so Moonfall.
And wow. Yeah. But yeah, then I just stopped completely. And
if we keep comparing this to Moonfall, this is going to be Mark's favorite film.
Yeah.
We can. The Jonas arc in the movie is very Moonfall.
The Meg is Moonfall. But you can't spell Moonfall without the M from Meg.
Meg in space.
But the doctor and he don't have an antagonistic relationship because the doctor gets booted out and he gets disgraced because in this one, he shows up and he's like, hey, I'm Jason Statham. And then he's like, he saves everybody. The thing explodes and they're like, you're terrible. You left people behind. He's like, yeah, but I saved all of you. And then he becomes an alcoholic. But in the book, it's like, did he not? Was he tired? So I think that makes more sense than what you have in the movie. But it still works. And you get drunk Statham just drinking beers and talking about his better side or worse side and offering brewskis and
yeah, he's got pressure-induced psychosis.
Aww.
One of those. He's got space dementia. One of those things.
Oh, that's Armageddon.
Yeah.
Oh.
Was there space dementia in Moonfall?
They probably accused him of having it for what he was claiming.
Good point. I like it.
And wasn't Halle Berry a discredited scientist as well?
She was in the government.
Government?
Yeah.
Well, she wasn't she? Didn't she work with him before that?
Yeah, but then she was high up. And then they had to take an old spaceship.
And she went rogue.
Megan, Moonfall.
And then Michael Pena made some questionable decisions, but ultimately...
He sacrificed himself.
He did. It was very emotional.
An old space shuttle has to escape a gravity wave and the moon falling on it. Normally, just sending an old space shuttle into space is enough.
A wave.
And then having a wave come at it is enough. And then having the moon come at it.
Yeah.
That's a triple whopper.
Fantastic. Just an epic movie.
With the P-dub in there. A P-dub center.
So I thought that Jay would appreciate this. There was a anniversary edition released of The Meg, and it's a hardcover, it's fancy, sprayed edges, all the bells and whistles. It is going on eBay for $550.
Silly. It's 5 years old. How is it already?
Wait, 1997.
Oh, the book.
Oh, okay, the book. Sorry, I thought we meant the film.
No, the book.
A 5-year anniversary of Jon Turtletaub's The Meg.
That is funny.
I'm happy for that.
They should do a Meg release where it is in a see-through container and that lights up. A see-through cube that lights up.
They should just give you an aquarium.
A Hell's Aquarium.
Hell's Aquarium,
yes. Oh my gosh. I'm writing it down. I need this.
Well, my back tattoo will probably take about a year, but I'm on it. And then I'm going to have the Meg Purgatory on my chest.
Oh, okay. Here's another difference from the book versus the movie. Tell me which one you would get. The Meg in the book is an albino, and it glows with bioluminescence.
That makes sense.
So would you get?
Yeah. Well,
but would you
I
get
glow with a dog tattoo?
Movie Meg or book Meg tattooed on you?
Oh, book Meg. Descent. 47 meters down to uncaged. Albino blind great white sharks. Crawlers. Yep. Albino megalodon. And I love that they yada-yada'd it, right? They were just like, well, we can't just show it bioluminescent, so we put color on it to make it look like a great white.
Well, the author of the book said they talked about it and they tried, and it just did not look good for film, so they made it colored.
There's a lot of yada-yadaing here. It's like, there's a cold layer at the bottom of the trench, and we just go through it. Hey, it's fine. And we go back through, and we made a warm pocket. We made a super highway for giant sharks. Line from the film. There's some real quotes that people manage to say with a straight face. Okay. That living fossil ate my friend is a dialogue from this film.
Oh no.
I have one more book versus movie. Can I read this to you about the climax?
Please.
So the difference. The climax in the movie we can cover very quickly. Jonas charges the Meg with his sub. It goes into its jaws. He goes into the esophagus and the stomach. Or no, just kidding. That's the movie. Sorry. In the movie, Jonas takes his sub and he cuts the belly of the Meg, and then he pops out of the sub and he hangs onto the shark and he breaches the surface of the water and he stabs the Meg in the eye. It's cool, sure. Damn. But the book, which is way more bonkers. In the book, he takes his sub, he charges into the jaws of the Meg, goes into its esophagus, then its stomach. Then he gets out of the sub, surrounded by half-digested dead characters from the book, wildlife, uses his marine biologist background to navigate the innards, slicing through stomach lining with a fossilized Meg tooth that he happened to carry with him because it was a keepsake. Reaches the shark's heart, severs the aorta, is almost drowning in its blood, then goes back to his sub, races out as the shark sinks, and he gets the bends. And then there's this quote. In total darkness, Jonas lays on his back, covered in warm blood that continued cascading down upon him in buckets. On his heaving chest, like an enormous tree trunk, lay the detached heart of the 40,000-pound megalodon. Jonas struggled to breathe steadily into the regulator, hyperventilating from its effort. The drums had stopped, but the chamber was engorged with blood.
Wow.
We needed that in the movie.
We cut out its heart with one of its own teeth.
A literal bloodbath. Come on.
How big would that heart be? If you like sit on a beanbag.
The size of a bus.
I want I haven't. You know, I want this.
I do too.
Jason Statham should be swallowed by a Meg in the next one. He should go full Will Ferrell, Land of the Lost. Remember in Land of the Lost when Will Ferrell pole vaults himself inside of the T-Rex's gut and then gets pooped out?
Oh my god.
That's what Statham should do in the Meg too.
But that happened. I haven't seen Sharknado, but I know that someone gets eaten in Sharknado and someone else jumps in to save them. So
Yeah, don't they
think it's
chainsaw
Tara
it in half and the lady
Yeah,
comes out?
I think Tara Reid gets eaten, and then Iron Ziering jumps in with an active chainsaw, cuts the shark in half, and saves her somehow. This is before the film where she turns into a robot. I haven't seen any of them. I just know these things happen.
I watched the first. The first one's kind of nice because it makes a shark finning. Kind of like shark finners get killed in the beginning of Sharknado. So at least it has a little bit of a message. Don't shark fin.
Yes, agreed. Don't.
I vaguely remember that.
Megan and I in college, I hand animated a little PSA about shark fin soup, and Megan and I voiced it, and I drew it, and we released it for one of my graduate classes. Yeah, so Meg did voice work for me.
And drawing a little bit.
What was your line? Shark fin soup. Drink
there
it.
were a bunch. It's probably on YouTube somewhere.
Don't watch it. But
No, you should definitely watch it and be anti-shark finning.
I've been into shark finning. I've been into sharks for a long time, so this was fun to kind of, shark attacks get the most coverage, but like if sharks getting dragged in nets, like that's not sexy, so no one posts about, no one writes about that. It's more like a surfer who's in the ocean spends hours a week, finally gets bit by a shark, and everyone's like, oh no. I mean, it's odds.
Yeah, it's about the sharks that don't bite you, not the ones.
It's about the little sea lions that jump on people's surfboards.
Oh, that thing's cute. That's adorable. And then a great white eats them both.
Aww.
It's not the sharks that bite you; it's the sharks that don't bite you.
Did you see that whale get those kayakers in its mouth the other day? And they lived, but a whale came up and got like an entire kayak in its mouth.
Mm-hmm.
No.
That would be
pictures.
Awesome, Megan.
It would be a story.
I know you and Mallory would miss me, but that's a great story. I come back years later looking like Tom Hanks from Castaway. You won't believe what I've been up to. I spent 3 years in the cavernous belly of a sperm whale.
Woof. There would probably be lots of fish to eat.
Yeah, exactly.
Plenty of protein.
Yeah.
I don't know about water. You'd be in trouble.
You managed to you
Drink its blood.
Blood.
You get out and kill the whale immediately, but it takes you so long to get back because you drag the whale with you. Give it a proper burial. So you just drag a whole sperm whale back to home.
I would have been back 6 months ago, but I had to dig a hole big enough for a whale with my hands on a deserted beach to bury. That's a story.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Willie.
So, Jay, what are your favorite moments in this movie?
I like the tube scene. I like that's like a unique sequence of being stuck in a tube. Like, it's a polycarbonate tube. You can't break it. I work with polycarbonate every day. You can break polycarbonate. It'll break. But that's not the point. But I like that. That's like a unique thing for this. I love the ending where you just cut a bit because there's been lots of little sharks all the way through. You see them clearing out before the Meg shows up. That's great. So having them get it with evolution. And just have him cut and eat them. So that's cool. I like all of that. It's just I just want some more character from one of these paper thin characters. Like if you say to someone who's your favorite character in the Meg, it's not a lot to choose from in terms of like, I really like.
Like I think
Biff Curtis is great, but he doesn't get anything to do. He just gets to like smirk when Jonas and Soo Yin are flirting.
Yeah, he does not. The more I watch this movie, though, the more I realize that like Ruby Rose actually is quite smart in this movie. Like they give her most of the lines about smart things.
But I like Ruby Rose. I don't like her in this. She's one of the people who keeps falling in the water.
Yeah.
She falls in at one point for no reason, and then she gets saved by Rainn Wilson. The next scene, she's like, "Can we push this guy in the water? I'm sick of this guy. He just saved your life 5 minutes ago. Now you want to push him in because he's being annoying."
And then Longmire sacrifices himself for her.
Long.
Yeah.
The Doctor.
Yeah, Doctor. Yeah, he's on a show called Longmire, so I just call him Longmire.
He's like an actor who I feel like the age that he is and the problems he has in this film, I should recognize him from something. And I don't. Apparently, he was in The Matrix as one of the agents. He's in Vertical Limit. He was in Kong Skull Island. I like all these films. I don't remember him in any of them. I feel like I should know who you are, guy. Like Robert Taylor. I should know who you are.
Yeah, he's good. Just call him Longmire. But like, I think the worst DJ, right? DJ is he's
Yeah.
What does he do?
He pilots the rover thing that they drop out down when they go down the Mariana Trench. They have that little buggy that separates and gets taken out immediately. So he is redundant for the rest of the film after 10 minutes in. You don't need it.
Just making comments.
Yeah, he can't swim. So isn't that hilarious?
What happened to your hair? What's up with your hair? Like, bro.
He's an odd character that he doesn't get anything. He's not funny.
Mm-mm.
No, it's just bad.
I mean, like, I think Li Bingbing does fine. I just think making her and Jonas a love interest almost immediately. It's like, yo, just let him exist.
Yeah, we don't need it.
Like, the great thing about The Shallows is they're not like, hey, Siegel, you and Blake Lively are going to become love interests. Like, no, she's just out there trying to survive. She's not stuck with Hank on another rock. Like, Justin Long is on another rock, and then they fall in love during their ordeal.
I'm just imagining her flirting with a seagull now. Your beak really, it glistens in the moon. I've never noticed it before.
It might be the heat stroke talking. But Siegel...
Your feet are so webbed.
Oh, man.
You're a good-looking seagull.
You're so fly.
And then Justin Long's like, hey, what are you doing over there? I'm just on this buoy by myself. Are you talking to that seagull? We weren't accepted together.
Justin, you've ruined the moment. We were about to kiss, and you interrupted. Oh.
You were about to kiss a seagull?
You wouldn't understand. We have something special.
You have shade. I don't. But yeah, it's like, even in Deep Blue Sea, Carter and Susan McAllister, they have a little bit of a thing, but she just more puts him in his place. Like, she burns him big. So you don't really have to worry about that. In this one, it's just, like, his ex-wife is there with a screwdriver in her stomach. And then...
I feel like in any other film, they would have gotten back together. And to have her be his ex-wife, and then there's no like animosity there. There's like, you just came back to say I was right, like pretty much. Like it's then they're fine. They play cards later, or like she's playing cards with the kid, and I guess it's showing a healthy divorce. Like you can not be together but be friends still. But there's no why did they break up? Was it because he was crazy? Not believe but. You think they would get back together again? It's just a new character.
Like they were trying to add too many themes. There was not that in the book. So it seems like maybe they were just, if we add all these different types of themes and genres, we'll attract more people to the movie. Give it some romance. Give it an international romance.
She dies in the book. She gets ripped apart, the wife. Oh. And the Meg. She gets eaten.
Like, would it not have made more sense to have Li Bingbing? That's her character. Like, so still be Jones's ex-wife. He saves her, and then they still go on the mission, does everything she does in the rest of the film.
Yeah.
Like everything, just get rid of nothing against Jessica McNamee. She's fine in the film. But just combine those two characters. Yeah.
She has nothing to do though, right? Of Jessica McNamee. Yeah. Like remember in Deep Blue Sea? I'm just gonna say it. Deep Blue Sea, Scoggins has his job. Mm-hmm. I guess. Deep Blue Sea,
I've never heard of this film. What are we talking about?
Scoggins has his job. Yeah, you can trust him. Like, he turns things and knows where the generators are. Like, that's his job. And, like, he talks about, he uses some math about how much can crush the facility. Like, they all seem to know. They belong there. Mm-hmm. This one has a lot of hanger-oners.
Yeah, yes. Everyone has a purpose in Deep Blue Sea. It feels like they've lived and worked there for a while, whereas in this one, there's a control room at some point where I'm not sure how many people are in there. What are they all doing?
Yeah.
Well, and the only ones that speak are the characters. There's like a bunch of people that Rainn Wilson's not introduced to.
Right.
These are the 6 people that are going to speak the rest of the film. Don't worry about those 20 in the background. They're not important. They might be here tomorrow. We don't know. They're day players.
They're just here taking up valuable oxygen in this underwater facility.
If we give them a name, we got to pay them $1,500, and then they get royalties. So just don't look at them.
There are like two of them who report on action happening here and there, but they're unnamed. You never know who they are, and you see them for like 3 seconds and they're done.
This kind of makes me want to watch a Jaws cut where there's 3 unnecessary characters on the boat. Like there's a guy called Slick Rick, there's a woman called Deborah Hill, and then an old salty fisherman called Salty Pete. And there's 6 people on the Orca as opposed to 3.
Oh man,
that's the movie I want to watch.
They really
Jay.
would need a bigger boat.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think, Jay? Would that be a better movie?
No, I don't think it would. I think it'd be too much like The Meg. I think the purity of Jaws comes from just having those 3 guys stuck there, and you don't need to dilute it with other randoms.
No, it would not.
Shut up.
And Jay, we were talking about this earlier in Meg. I don't know if you feel this way, but the Meg was released in 2018. That feels like a lot. That doesn't feel like 5 years ago.
No, because it's pre-pandemic.
Right? But
it feels like a different lifetime.
It does. It's only 5 years.
But also watching it feels like it was made in 2003.
Yes.
It feels like it should have been made 6 months after The Call. A film I love and we will definitely cover one day. It's a very deep film.
We'll
do it. We'll cover it.
And yeah, it does. This is a very much so of that time, but I think that's the Turtletaub effect because The Sorcerer's Apprentice feels like a 2003 film.
Oh, yeah, just thinking
I never
about
saw
it.
that one.
Yeah, the only good scene in that was like the entire marketing of that movie was based around a One Republic song. Right?
I just started playing in my head before you even said
I'm gonna give all my secrets away. That's it. Like it's Jay Baruchel DJing. I'm so happy that he's back in Blackberry and not like The Sorcerer's Apprentice. Just want to put that out there.
How much do we love the Thai version of Hey Mickey?
Very fun. Very enjoyable.
Like the best part of the film?
Let's talk about the beach attack real quick too. I mean, we can't leave without the beach attack.
Okay.
I mean, people do die.
Life's a beach.
Life's a beach. People get shot all over the place. Like there's some fun build up. We love overhead shots, Jay. You know how much I love overhead shots.
This is
Maybe
like
that's why I like this movie.
There's a random boat wedding.
Yeah, there's boat weddings, which I'm big on. Shotgun wedding. I'm big on boat weddings. I'm big on overhead shots of monsters. So I love the overhead shots.
I wanted more from the beach scene. You have the overhead shot. You have so many people in the water. I needed the Meg to be going through like it's cleaning the leaves out of a pool. And it's just like this this stripe of where people used to be with the Meg just taking them out.
Just popping inner tubes with its teeth.
Just not even noticing they're there. Just consuming them.
Yes.
Inhaling
that would be
them.
amazing. Just scooping them up. You know, an overhead shot, Jay. Thousands of people in the water.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's a line directly in the middle of it where the shark is just swallowing people.
That's it.
There's like a gap of people. It's like just clearing a gap between the two people, just skimming people in its mouth.
It's basically it's trying to like color in an area, so it like takes out a line, swims around, cuts out another line, and it's just trying to clear everyone up.
It spells Statham
as efficiently as possible.
No,
it spells
Jonas.
Jonas. It spells Jonas in the water. Oh yeah, it spells Jonas. Jay, can you do Jonas seeing a megalodon eating people that spells out Jonas in the water? Can you do that impersonation?
Oh my God! It's spelling out my name. It's a megalodon. I love that line from the trailer. It's a megalodon.
I'm actually getting a lot of Roy Kent right now.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, just swallowing everybody whole, and then
I'm not going to do any Roy Kent impressions because I have to bleep them all. Unfortunately.
Think about this scene, Jay. It swallowed 300 people whole. Statham
swallowed 300 people whole. Sorry.
Statham guts it, kills it, and as all the sharks come out to attack, people who have survived being swallowed whole are just getting slaughtered by all the sharks coming forward, and it's like a bloodbath on a bloodbath.
What have I done?
But at this point, Jonas and the crew from the movie have befriended the other sharks and they're riding them like in the battle in Aquaman.
Oh, I still can't get over that because he sent in endangered animals to battle.
He's a jerk.
Army.
We've talked about this. He's a terrible person.
Yeah, and Aquaman, Jay, he sends in he has a Kraken, an entire army of the trench, and he's like, hey, whales that are endangered, come into battle with me. Like, he has it won.
To fight Patrick Wilson.
Yeah, to be... Oh! King Horn, baby. He's back in 2. P-Dub! I think the James Wan P-Dub connection. Think about it.
And even more so, it's Shark Week right now while we're recording this. And who is hosting Shark Week this year?
Momoa.
There you go.
And P-Dub. I don't know.
I don't think so.
But think about it. Insidious, Conjuring, and Aquaman. The P-Dub, J-Dub combo is
he's
A-Dub.
An evil sea king battling ghosts?
Yeah.
And demons?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Just killing endangered animals that Aquaman called forth to fight because he's a jerk.
I would watch it.
I want all these beachgoers getting slaughtered, Megan. Just blood everywhere.
I mean, that was a chief complaint from the readers that it was not bloody and violent enough.
Yeah.
But, they had to get to that PG-13. Again, stuffing all the themes in to make it more appealing.
But Turtletaubed it.
I think it would have been perfectly appealing if it was very bloody.
Is the trench PG-13?
Oh, it's got to be. With the amount, I think with the amount of money they spend on it, it's got to be. The trench.
That's a shame.
You're looking it up.
I have the description here, which it doesn't help you with the rating, but it'll fill time while Jay looks it up. Jason Statham's Jonas Taylor puts together a team for the exploratory dive into the deepest depths of the ocean.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, PG-13.
And investigate some strange goings-on. During the mission, they discover that a bunch of prehistoric megalodons, even bigger than the ones in the previous movie, are lurking beneath the surface.
Listen, y'all. Just stop.
More sharks.
Stop. Just let them be. Let it be.
Also, maybe just stop going into the trench. Aren't you sort of attracting them out of there? Maybe they're looking for Godzilla.
I talked about this on the Black Demon episode. Stop looking for megalodons.
Yeah.
Right?
It's not going to end well.
It seems like a bad self-fulfilling prophecy.
Ugh.
Unless they're looking for Godzilla in his recharging pad.
Yeah, they blow up his crib.
I know, it's bad.
I don't like that scene. It's like, so they escape, and then everyone's like, Statham, Jonas, what the hell? He's like, I don't know. I can't do his accent. Hey, Jay, do Jonas on trial for going back into the trench and letting out 3 gigantic, like opening up a portal into another world. And if he hadn't have done it, it would have been fine. So he's on the stand, right? Like he's on, Sorkin's directing it.
It is too much for me to comprehend.
All right, so Jonas is defending himself for the death of thousands because he had to go back into the trench.
Okay. I had to go back down there. There could have been more sharks. They could have done anything. I don't know what his defense would be. There's no way to defend it. He shouldn't have gone down. I shouldn't have. I know I shouldn't have done it, but I couldn't resist. I had to go and find another megalodon. I had to go down. I just wanted to find another megalodon. A little girl told me to do it. She called me crazy. She's right.
That's my defense.
He needed to find another tooth to carry around with him in case he had to sever another shark aorta.
I made the big shark bleed with my tooth, but it dulled it. So I had to go and get another sharp one. What am I supposed to do?
Totally logical.
Where am I supposed to get it? Amazon? In the sea. I lost it.
Oh, that was beautiful.
It was good.
It's just something that you and I hate in films, Mark, where they give the you're my brother, you're my. They have a few of those moments where
I hate that.
Jonas, it's Laurie down there, your ex-wife, and when the little girl's being attacked in the tunnel, everyone else is in a meeting and they hear a scream, and Suyin's like, my daughter. Doesn't say her name, and she's like, my daughter.
Oh gosh.
I mean, Mark does walk around calling Mallory my child.
Yeah, I did say my child. My
Offspring.
child. My progeny.
Weird stuff parents do.
We have so many nicknames for her, it just gets weird, actually. It gets really weird, the name. Sometimes you're like, did I just say that? Did I just call you Texas Pete? Like I've called her every... Hey, St. Pete, Florida. Like, why? Hey, Patrice Wilson.
Hey, Baby Shark.
Hey, how deep and blue is this, Jay?
Ooh.
Okay, so similarities between this and Deep Blue Sea. Quite a big list. It's very Deep Blue Sea adjacent. When I used to host the Lambcast, we did an episode on the Meg, and I introduced the episode basically saying, and this film stars Jason Statham as Carter Blake and Meg Wilson as Russell Franklin.
Yes.
So yes, Jonas has a tragic backstory, just like Russell Franklin. There's an aquatic research station.
He's a
There's
cannibal.
there's a visiting wealthy benefactor. There's an elevator exposition scene. The wealthy benefactor is unaware of what most of the research is done. Trouble opening a door with a big round wheel. A submersible is destroyed. There's a shark cross section on a picture instead of a big shark model, but yeah, it's close enough. There's a shark that's bigger than average sharks. And a giant shark looking at the window, like in Deep Blue Sea 2. He's just kind of hanging out. Picture like dead shark poachers, also from Deep Blue Sea 2. Shark destroys a boat. Shark kind of recognizes a gun at one point.
Yeah.
It gets a laser in the eye. There's a rapping. Paige Kennedy is a rapper in real life as well as being an actor, so there's a rapper in the crew, the cast. A character loses an arm, which Rainn Wilson, or actually the arm loses Rainn Wilson, I guess, in this one. There is a blue bird. It just happens to be inflatable in this one. A helicopter explosion, which causes a boat to blow up. Shark is stabbed in the eye. There's probably a bunch more, but that's what I got. But how deep and how blue is it? Meg, as I'm sure you know, Deep Blue Sea is about 14.5 meters deep, 31% blue. Meg, do you reckon the Meg is deeper and or bluer than Deep Blue Sea?
I think it's definitely deeper. Although you said you couldn't find exact amounts, but it's got to be pretty darn deep to
They're
be.
in the trench.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't find exact amounts for the Manor one, so I had to just kind of guess. I did find exact amounts for the Mariana Trench and the Philippine Trench. This is 2,096 meters deep on average. This is our fourth deepest film.
I was just gonna say, is this the deepest you've done, or?
Leviathan?
Aquaman is deeper because you go to the center of the earth at one point. Gotta count it. Leviathan is deeper, and underwater is our deepest today.
Isn't underwater really deep?
Because underwater is like entirely at the bottom of the trench. That's 9.5 kilometers deep. The Meg is our deepest shark film.
Okay.
At this point. And blueness, it is bluer than Deep Blue Sea, but it's not as blue as I thought it was going to be. It's 37% blue. I thought it was going to be bluer than that, but there's a lot of like indoor scenes. But they're still pretty blue. So that's bluer than The Abyss, less blue than Piranha 3D. But yeah, this is our 18th bluest and 4th deepest film so far.
What's your biggest looking forward to thing for Meg 2?
So I haven't even seen the trailer. I don't know anything that's in it at all.
Don't watch it. Don't watch it.
I'm not. Okay. I don't intend to.
Doesn't
I know there's a big
You've
shark.
Seen the Meg. That's all you need to know. What are you looking forward to?
So I'm hoping as few characters come back as possible.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I know that Statham's back. Was it?
Yeah, Cliff Curtis is back. A bunch of the others are back. Yeah.
Sure. Well, they can all die, I guess. They can be eaten by a Meg. We gotta have some fodder. What do I want to happen? I want more animals. I mean, Mark's already said as a T-Rex gets
No, I didn't. I was just lying.
I had already heard. Well, I mean, the trailer starts with a dinosaur, so I'd seen like the first 3 seconds of the trailer. I'm in. Okay. I don't see any more. Stop showing me more. There's a dinosaur and a Meg. That's what I need no more in my film. So yeah, I want more creatures. I want Statham to ride the top of a megalodon would be pretty cool. Like just like surfing on a megalodon with the Meg not even knowing he's on.
Like a sandcrawler in Dune, and he's Timothy Chalamet.
Yes, I would prefer Dune if Paul Atreides was played by Jason Statham. That's a better film.
Can you do Paul Atreides as Jason Statham?
I can remember nothing he said. I'm
quite pale.
Quite pale and sad. I'm not a dour person.
Watch out for
this film shouldn't be about me.
Oi, spice.
I stand by that if your film stars Timothy Chalamet, then you shouldn't make your film.
Whoa. I
No,
want to
it's
see
just
an old. If he was in Dune, I would want him to do a Old Spice tie-in.
Oh my gosh.
look at your sandworm. Look back. It's me. I'm covered in spice.
Old Spice and get addicted.
Yeah. Ooh.
What do you want to see from the Meg to the Trench?
I mean, mostly
Either of you.
Jason Statham being sassy on screen. That's what we're here for.
We love the sass of Staith.
Right. Maybe he kicks some stuff. He's
I have
kick-a-shark.
destroyed my throat this episode.
Oh.
Yeah.
Also, Jay, if you haven't watched it, Cliff Curtis, he has good luck around the water.
He does.
He's in a movie called Marina that Megan and I love a lot. It's a Kino Lorber picture, and he plays a billionaire
in Croatia.
in Croatia. Beautiful
Okay.
water.
I'll add it to my list.
It is not an action film.
Well, you did. You know what? You did Deepwater. Marina's all water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No shark,
Deepwater,
though.
one of our least deeply adjacent films.
They're
Deepwater.
Eels,
Someone dies in a pool.
but no.
Oh, but that should have been a water scenes episode, maybe, right?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know I barely knew what it was about before we covered it, and it just sounded like it was going to be one. And it exists now. We've covered it. It's on the books. It's nowhere near our deepest or bluest. Not by a long shot.
Well, Affleck
Actually,
and Adrian Lynn.
Deeper
Oh, well-
than Lake Placid. Somehow.
Oh,
No, deeper than less deep than Lake Placid. Deeper than Adventure of the Fourth Element. Anyway, Meg, do you have anything you want to plug? That's a no. Okay.
Deep Blue Sea, the podcast.
Thank you.
Go listen to all of Deep Blue Sea 3. 'cause
our
it's
random
excellent.
awards. Our random awards.
Yeah, the random awards are fun. We do them every 6 months.
Yep.
Listen to us.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
I
submit
contributed.
some awards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice. Mark, any plugs?
Yeah, movies, films, and flicks. Deep Blue Sea. Hello to all the Canadians that are listening to us, Jay. We just popped on the Canadian charts. We were in the teens. Also, everyone. Hey, listen, if you're listening to us, just shoot us a message. We have a pretty the listener base is really growing, and we'd love to hear from you. Like, what movies do you want us to cover? Just talk to us. Like, we're happy to hear from you. So shoot us a message.
Can we speak
absolutely.
Deep Blue Sea 4 into existence? Like, if we just start talking about it a lot, it'll trend.
You should do it.
I want us to cover Deep Blue Sea 4.
Me too.
Started.
We've already go back and listen to one of our I think the Deep Blue Sea wrap-up episode. I think we pitched Deep Blue Sea 4.
Mm-hmm.
Go back, it's one of the last Deep Blue Sea 3 episodes, maybe. Go back and listen to that. We got a pitch.
That one gets just listen to all of our episodes. I love
Yes,
I
do
love
that.
that trilogy of talks.
Yeah.
Deep Blue Sea is the loosest.
Yes, very much so. We go places. That film is. I haven't watched it since, but I should go back and watch Deep Blue Sea 2 sometime.
Limitless juice, baby. Limitless juice.
Yeah. Bella just waiting at the window. Anyway, you can. I guested on the Too Fast, Too Forever podcast recently, talking about Fast and Furious, the fourth one. So go listen to me talking to Joey and Joe and Nat, and they're going to be on this show soon to talk about Driven, the crossover film. Rennie Harlan's Driven. So that was a fun episode. Find out which Fast and Furious character I am apparently most like. It's not Statham.
Dang.
Sadly, it's not Statham. Because I'm nothing like Deckard Shaw at all. I'm also nothing like the character that I got, but there we are. Mark, who do you think I am? I don't say
Leon.
if you're right or not. Who?
I said Leon, the guy from the first Fast and Furious. Oh, okay. Tej.
Okay, because you were Brian, weren't you? You were Paul Walker.
I don't even remember. I was Brian.
I asked them. They said yes. You were Paul Walker. You were Brian.
Hey.
I think that Jay is a male cipher. It's an evil computer genius.
Been caught it before. Good. So you can listen to me.
Ooh, tell me.
The listeners have to go and find out for themselves. I'll tell you off mic.
No, I'll listen to the episode. I've been meaning to. I've just been crazy, so I'll listen to the episode and I'll find out.
Okay. We had a fun time talking about the franchise. I don't love all of the films in it, but we talked about it anyway. I've come around to that franchise. I used to be a sad and bitter husk of a person. So That'll do it for our talk on the Meg. Next week we might be doing the Meg 2, The Trench. If it's not next week, it'll be the week after. If we don't cover that, then next week will probably be Airport 77 instead. We'll see what works out schedule-wise. They're basically the same film.
Yeah.
It's very similar films. That's the airport film where they go underwater. So fun times had by all. But as for the Meg, thank you once again to our Meg for joining us about the Meg.
Our Meg.
Dun,
Our
dun,
Meg.
dun, dun.
I love it. Our Meg.
Our Meg. I mean, specifically your Meg, I guess, but
My
the
Meg.
podcast's Meg.
I'm nobody's Meg.
I'm my own
I-
Meg.
Hey, say I'm nobody's Meg in Statham's accent.
Wait, I need to talk tomorrow. I'm nobody's Meg. You can't
I'm
make
my
me
own
be your
Meg.
Meg. That'll do it for me and Jason Statham, Jonas Taylor, whoever. I have been Jake Lewitt.
Now Mark Hoffmeyer.
Deep Blue, see you next week.
And I'm